Oppo isn't exactly a new manufacturer on the scene, but it's one that we here in the US don't have a lot of experience with. This year it's announced two new flagships, a high-end and a low-end model, the Oppo Find 7 and the Find 7a, the latter of which we've spent a lot of time with. Is it worth the buy? I'm Taylor Martin, this is Pocket Now, and this is our full review of the Oppo Find 7a. Oppo has been turning heads lately, with both compelling products and precision-calculated teasing of its upcoming devices. The M1 and Find 5 from the Chinese manufacturer most notably proved that Oppo could be rather competitive with much larger, more globally recognized brands. And now the Find 7 and Find 7a are doing the exact same. Oppo is making a statement. It's ready to take its smartphone business to the next level. Is the Find 7a that for the company, or will we have to wait on the Find 7 or even its successor? We spent nearly 3 weeks using the Find 7a, and this is what we found. From the outside, the Find 7a may not immediately catch your eye. There isn't much about its design that makes it stand out. At first glance, it's not unlike a more squared Nexus 5. And even under closer inspection, it doesn't exactly look gorgeous, especially not after reviewing a phone like the One M8. This phone is precision machined, that's very clear, but it's made mostly of a matte finished plastic and has a very stark appearance. The face is almost entirely black, save for a really neat notification LED, which the company calls Skyline Notification. It's a blue light that subtly oscillates with new notifications, and it's easily the standout feature of this phone's design. The edges are squared. Paired with the large physical size of the phone, it makes the phone somewhat difficult to handle one-handed. It measures 152.6mm tall, 75mm wide, and 9.2mm thick, and it hits the scales at a hefty 170 grams. It doesn't nestle into the palm of your hand like other phones, despite the curved backside. That aside, the phone doesn't come light on specifications, even if it's the lower-end counterpart to the Find 7. It has a 2.3 GHz quad-core Crate CPU and Adreno 330 GPU, which make up the Snapdragon 801 SoC, 16 GB of fixed storage with a microSD card slot for up to 128 GB, 2 GB of RAM, a 2800 mAh battery, a 13 megapixel primary camera, and a 5 megapixel front camera. It also comes with a standard subset of connectivity options, Bluetooth 4.0, Wi-Fi BGN, NFC, and varying LTE support based on different markets. And the display? It's quite gorgeous. At 5.5 inches and 1080p resolution, the IPS LCD is par for the course for high-end smartphone displays. The colors are vibrant and blacks are fairly deep. Side visibility is acceptable, as is contrast, and the display at 401 ppi is as crisp as you can hope for, unless you wait for the Find 7's 2K display. We have no major complaints about this phone's display. In fact, we really don't have any complaints about the hardware or design either, as understated and bland as it may be. It may not stick out at all, but it's not ugly and it's built incredibly well. At the very least, it feels worthy of the $500 price tag. Software we imagine will be hit or miss for the mass consumer market. The Oppo Find 7a comes running Android 4.3 beneath what Oppo calls Color OS. Visually, this software has a lot in common with MIUI or MIUI, a popular Chinese custom Android ROM with a very robust theme engine. A very similar, if not the same theme engine is present on the Find 7a. Here you will find ample ways to customize the appearance and the experience of your device, from a custom lock screen to heavily customized home screens, icons, and accent colors. You can change practically everything about how the UI looks and feels, which is nice. Color OS on the Find 7a also comes with a ton of bloat, not from any particular carrier, but instead directly from Oppo. Out of the box, it comes with things like sound recorder, flashlight, compass, Kingsoft Office, app encryption, data monitor, power manager, data saving, guest mode, holiday mode, permission monitor, block, a handful of games, and more. There are a lot of visual differences which definitely contrast the typical experience. For instance, the settings application is pretty heavily customized, divided into 3 categories: general, sound, and display. And even the home screen has some non-standard functionality, such as exclusive spaces. The photo space allows you to take pictures directly from the home screen. We're not sure how functional or helpful this actually is. Accessed by pulling down from the top edge of the display is a gesture panel. It allows you to draw certain shapes to launch user-definable actions. Worth noting is that there's no shortage of ways to wake up the phone. Those very same gestures from the gesture panel can also be used from standby mode to launch you directly into various applications. Double tapping the capacitive home button will also wake the device. And not unlike touchless control in the Moto X, you can speak "OK Snapdragon" to wake the device and begin a Google Voice search. The software is elaborate and feature-packed, but that doesn't necessarily make it great. It's pretty cohesive and refined, but like some other customized versions of Android, it's packed to the brim with features many may never use. And overall, it feels sort of sterile. We're not moved or compelled by it in any way. On a lighter, more positive note, performance is spectacular. The Snapdragon 801, as we've seen in the past, is an absolute beast. It slices through everyday tasks with ease, and it even powers through the most intensive gaming without a problem. We have experienced a few performance hiccups, like some stutters on the home screen and more aggressive app closing than we experienced on the One M8, which has comparable specifications. Either way, power users should have no problem putting the Oppo Find 7a through a lot of abuse. It's built to handle the toughest of workloads. We had some trouble testing call quality and data speeds on our US unit, but our editor-in-chief Anton used the European model in his neck of the woods and reports average call quality and data speeds, noting that the Find 7a comparatively offered a stronger than normal signal than its competitors in particularly problematic coverage areas. Without a data or voice connection, we had to turn to Anton once again for battery metrics. Thanks to the large display, the 2700 mAh battery only offered comparable battery life to devices like the One M8 or Galaxy S5. On light or moderate usage, you can expect a full day out of the phone, but on heavier days, you'll need a supplementary charge at some point, which is actually not a major issue. The Find 7a comes with what Oppo calls rapid charge, where 30 minutes can charge the phone up to 75%. It's fast, and it's something we're going to miss when using other phones. The camera is actually a high point for the Find 7a. Outdoors, the 13 megapixel camera is capable of taking really impressive images. Indoors, it struggles a bit. More often than not, pictures taken in dim light will turn out a bit blurry with soft focus. Resting the phone on a solid surface definitely helps, but some will still be littered with noise. The key feature of the camera, however, is actually very impressive. Super Zoom or Ultra HD mode allows the 13 megapixel camera to take 50 megapixel images. A few weeks ago, we uploaded a video showing off the feature. In short, the 50 megapixel images often turn out better than the standard 13 megapixel pictures. The Find 7a isn't the best mobile camera, but it's certainly a capable shooter, and Oppo's Super Zoom mode is something we truly enjoyed. Overall, the Find 7a is actually a very impressive smartphone. The Snapdragon 801 assures stellar performance. The display is gorgeous. The camera, while hit or miss, could be far worse. And rapid charge all but snuffs out any battery life issues. Oh, and that notification LED is just sweet. For $499, the Find 7a is a great smartphone. The software may take some getting used to for most, but the complaints are far and few between with this particular phone. The Find 7a and Find 7 could be the phones to finally put Oppo on the global smartphone map. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click the thumbs up button below, and of course, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this one in the future. Be sure to follow us in all the usual places: Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and Pocket Now. I'm Taylor Martin. You can find me on Twitter at CasperTech, and I will see you next time.